Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Archer the Great, back with another video, the fourth defensive tip video in my series. If you missed the other three, make sure you check out the description. I will leave the link in there. This is the second part in my full court press tutorial. You guys said that you liked that video and you wanted more rotation, so here we are. I've captured some footage for you guys. Make sure you get your popcorn, get ready, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if this helps you out. But I'm excited to show you more rotations that are going to help you out with this defense. So we've already gone over the types of players you need. You definitely need some good defenders out there. We're not going to go over that kind of stuff again. Make sure you know the personnel you need on the court with this. It is very important to have the proper personnel on the court. So again, we've been labbing some different things, and I wanted to show you guys some different rotations on how to run this full court press, along with some different scenarios and what to do in different situations depending on what's coming up in your games. So we've already gone over the matchups in the first video. I was doing 12-0s when I was capturing this footage, but you always want to make sure you're setting your matchups to make sure you have whoever's on the ball as your strongest defender. We've already gone over that, but we're not going to go over that again. But let's recap some of the things we talked about. Making sure you're playing center field to get some of those easy ones. Now, these are going to be the easy pickings that you're going to be able to get. Some of these are going to be way more easy than others. Not everything's going to happen this fluid. This is what we went over in the first video. Some of the easier steals you can get, the frustration you can create without much work against some opponents that are going to make some of the basic mistakes early on in the game. Then as they learn it, they're going to start trying to do different things. And that's what we're going to talk about and how to adapt to those things as we go. All right, so the key factors we're talking about in video number 2. Number 1 is no threes. We are not giving up threes no matter what. That's going to be the premise of this. Number 2, rotate and stop the ball from going to the middle. Number 3, who does your opponent want to have the ball? Figure out who that is and make sure they don't get the ball, or don't let them dribble the ball up the court with them. Be creative and mix it up. Don't give them the same look all the time. Forcing your opponent into the half-court offense is the game we're trying to play. If you force them into a half-court offense, that's a W. Take that as a W. If they don't take a 3 that possession, that's a W. It's small victories. If your opponent loves using Ben Simmons and you make them pass it to somebody else or the center coming off the court, that's a W. Small victories. All right, we got the key factors out of the way, so let's get into tip number 1, and this is going to be the bump steal and trying to get bump steal. This is very risky, but it can be rewarding. You want to use this against players that are rushing the ball up the court with their primary ball handler. They're usually rim runners. They're trying to get the ball up the court as fast as possible, but be sure to rotate after, and we will talk about all of that. So let's start with what a bump steal is. So right here, he passes the ball in. I'm trying to get a nice angle towards his ball handling hand. Go up right next to him and press the steal button, and you'll be able to get that little bump steal animation, which surprisingly does happen often. Now, don't worry about that missed dunk by LeBron. He was playing like a burger that game. We ain't gonna worry about that. But again, boom, he tries to rush up the court, go right. We get the bump steal. Check out the 3-point percentage. Remember, we talked about not letting go threes. We only give up 1 that whole quarter. So we get the bump steal again. Right here, another play. We go for the bump steal, but we don't get it. And this is going to put us into tip number 2, which is going to be how to properly rotate. All right, rotating. It's pretty much just putting your player in the proper position after somebody else has been getting beat. So you're going to know your other player's icon so that you can switch to someone else and put them in the right position. And one of our key factors was rotating towards the middle, not letting the ball go to the middle. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And then the time and anticipation will allow you to get back in a position and create more steals opportunities. Sometimes you'll have to rotate twice, but as you learn your icons, you will be able to do that. All right, so back to the same play where we just missed that bump steal. And I want you to check out the rotation we just made. Don't worry about going backwards because y'all know me. I always slow things down for y'all. So boom. We get to the play, he passes the ball and I go for the bump steal that we showed earlier. Magically, the ball goes through his hands, maybe because it's magic, who knows why. He goes to throw the ball middle. I rotate to J.R. Smith. I'm covering the middle so he can't go down the middle of the court. Immediately switch to LeBron James because I know he's going to who J.R. Smith came from. And I timed the steal up properly. Yes, he could have dotted the corner, but people think too fast, and he made that pass as soon as I wanted him to make it, and I get the steal, leading me to another steal in another basket, frustrating the opponent, and he didn't want to stay in that game. That was it for him. And all that happened all because I was able to rotate, get in the right positions, using all the key factors from the previous video and this one, and put myself in a position to get the steal using some anticipation. So again, this happens again. I'm rushing, trying to get that steal from the center. I actually press steal too much, get myself out of position. But what do I do after I notice I'm in the wrong position? I rotate. So let's slow it down again so we can show you what happened. Right there, I'm with Bamba trying to get this steal from Davis. I don't get it, so I switch to J.R. Smith. As soon as I see that he thought he was open, I rotate from J.R. Smith. Now, if he would have tried to pass it over to Cam Reddish instead, I would have just made the same rotation that I made with LeBron in the previous clip before this one. So I would have still been able to cover both of those players. All right, this next play is a little bit different than the flow of the video we're going right now, but it's still important. As you can see, sometimes they're still going to try to rush the ball up the court. And we always talk about those long arm defenders. Somebody like Giannis is going to be able to take those inbound passes or those side out passes. So make sure you are ready for those and you can take those. So let's get right into tip number 3. Use shading, rotations, and 2v1 play plus baiting to prevent three-point attempts. I know that's a mouthful, but the goal is to not let go threes. So if you shade your opponent the proper way, get them to pass the ball the way you want it. This is very fast. We're going to slow it down, but there's so much that just happened that made this play get into a half-court setting and lead to this steal. And we're going to break it down. We get a nice little 2-point jump shot to push our lead up higher where we want to go. So boom, let's break it down a little bit more, and I'll show you my exact thought process. So right here, I start shading. He has the ball with Ben Simmons. I don't want him going up the sideline with him. I would rather him pass to Siakam. So I show him Siakam. As soon as he kicks it over to him, I am in the middle of him and Glenn Rice threatening because I can contest the shot with both of them. He passes it over to Glenn Rice. Now I'm switching over to Giannis because he's in an overload. And now I have long arms in the middle of the passing lane once again. And I'm able to get a steal and get up the court for an easy 2-point shot to push my lead up. All right, let's look at the next play up the court. Same premise. He passes it in. I actually missed the steal I'm supposed to get. I'm out of position. I fake like I'm rotating with Jordan to the ball to take away that 3-point attempt. He kicks it back out with the bait. I'm able to get a tip ball that leads into a broken play, and he forces up a shot that leads to a rebound. Fast break points. We're off to the races once again. All right, tip number 4, and this one is tricky because the angle you have to play is very important because you can give up a lot of threes if you don't do this right. But if the middle of the floor is given up, you want to bait from the corner. Don't overcommit. No, you are not allowing a 3. Know it in your mind. You're not going to allow a 3. Give up the 2 if they stay solid and keep going to the basket. And I will talk to you about what that means in the video. All right, so there's going to be plays where the ball's able to go up to the middle of the court and you're just beat. But this is when you use your last line of defense, your corner man, and you can just shade over real quick. And people want threes so much that they're going to kick it back out. But again, don't overcommit and get sucked in to let them get that pass back out to the 3-point line. Because if they get the pass back out to the 3-point line, then you're going to give up a 3. Shade over enough so that you can defend the passing lane and scare them enough to make them think you're coming to block them. Now that they're in a half-court setting, even though they might get a better look at a shot, you did your job and you put them in a half-court offense. And now that they're not able to get what they want with their rushed offense, they're going to get frustrated. They are going to leave the game most of the time, especially if you're not giving up 3-point shots. So again, you get your bucket, you got the fast break. Let's say your press gets beat. They get up the middle. He's sprinting up the middle. Shade over real quick. Boom. He's going to kick it back out. We get back out to the 3-point line. And now we have them back in a half-court offense, which is where we want them. Mistakes can be made. They can't run around and do whatever they want. They can't utilize the offense that they want. They have to play where you want them to play. And now you're good. Get up the court and get yourself another basket. Sometimes you're going to miss, that's fine, but that's why we're not giving up threes, because we played a 3 versus 2 game. You make more threes, you're always going to be good. Again, you get somebody overcommitted. I should have stole that. He was so committed to that 3-point shot, he literally gave up the chance to get a 2. And this is what's going to lead us into our next video, which is going to be our pick and roll offense. Our pick and roll defense, because 9 times out of 10, once you stop the rim run with your full court press, and you get them into the half court setting, which is your goal, they are going to be going into their pick and roll offense. That's going to be your next thing to defeat. You're going to have to be able to defend that as well, because it's not over. 80% of it's going to be getting them into half court, but once they're in the half court, the pick and roll battle is going to start, and that's what we're going to start talking about in the next video. But for the rest of this, just showing you guys more rotations, you know, how things can happen, throwing bodies at the guys, making sure that you don't give up the 3-point line. Right there, I left Lamar Odom right under the basket for 2. He didn't want the 2. I would have gave him the 2 because I'm fine with that at the moment, because I know I'm about to get a 3. So we play the 3 versus 2 game. That's going to help you out as well. We haven't talked about offense a lot, but 3 versus 2 is very important. If your opponent hits a 3 every time down the court, it's going to be very difficult for you to win the game. But again, rotate on defense, bait, throw bodies at them. And then when you get into the pick and roll offense, cover that 3-point line. I can't say it enough. When you get your steals on defense, get up the court for fast breaks and be able to convert on your offense. And these little things over and over, wearing your opponent down in the game, +1 every couple possessions, you are going to eventually be able to win more games. Right there, you see a little rotation over to Chris Bosh to cover the 3-point line. We get a foul. That's fine. Next play, he comes in, throws the ball away, all because we've rotated properly off of the full court press, stopped the break, put him into a half court offense, and then we're able to defend his half court offense enough to get another turnover, leading for us awesome offense down the court the other way. Then right here, he just refuses to pass the ball up the court and ends up getting an 8-second violation, because every time he passed it up the court, we were stealing it, which led to another quit. All right, and last thing I wanted to show you, when somebody try to hit y'all with the bump steal, just make sure you get the little spin move out there. Then we got MJ taking off from the free throw line. I'll catch y'all in the next video, man.